Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Paramvere Sports Complex in Ryder, Georgia. This is the 2024 Atlanta Open presented by Tarek Real Estate. This matchup in Group A featuring the Atlanta Fire versus the Carolina Smashers. Atlanta Fire and the Smashers. Smashers have played one game. They lost it yesterday. Fire, in comparison, has one win from the one game that they played. Brian Walters, and I'm happy to be joined here by the great Athar Ali Khan. Athar Ali Khan, it is my honest pleasure to be with you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Brian. Good afternoon, all. Here we go. First delivery from Mohammad Saifuddin.
Oh, very quick. Play it down to mid-on. They run for a single. Very sharp from the first ball.
They had a really good game, the first game, Atlanta Fire. Remember, we made short work of the opposition, which was against the St. Louis American. They bowled them out for 44, and a really short work, 4.1 overs, and they went on to win by 10 wickets.
Did you say 4.1 overs?
Absolutely.
So we don't yet know what this Atlanta Fire team can do because they've been on the field for all of 9 overs already this innings or this tournament.
Yeah, they will need to be tested because there are some really good teams. I've already seen Kingsman I mean, my personal opinion, I reckon Kingsman X is the site to watch out for.
Very interesting. Hitting the bat hard here, Mohammad Saifuddin, Bangladeshi international. So a number of international, current and former international players around. Who have you seen that sort of, draws your attention so far?
The big lad, Raheem Cornwell. Back-to-back Player of the Match awards. And I had the pleasure of interviewing him during the Player of the Match award. A bit of a stoppage in the play at the moment, just looking carefully at the ball. And got a couple of 50s in the last 2 matches that he batted. And I did ask him, posted a question. I mean, he was batting beautifully. I mean, he's like dealing in 4s and 6s. But the other thing which caught my eye was that he didn't bowl a single over. So I asked him whether he was 100%. But he's just nursing the shoulder. Reason why he has not bowled, but my word. He's taken on the bowlers and he's looked very, very dangerous with the bat.
He is a force of nature when he hits the ball. Strikes it cleanly, and he's not a slogger. Proper cricket shots all around the ground. So 3 consecutive deliveries here where he's bang on target. Mohammad Saifuddin, the young man he's bowling to. Mitansh Nityanandam had a decent game yesterday. From memory, he scored about 24 runs before he was out. And what is your objective? If you're a team that is so much stronger on paper, the Atlanta Fire, than the opposition, are you trying to finish this game in 4 overs again, or are you trying to essentially get match practice?
I think match practice is important because you will get stronger opposition as you go ahead in the tournament. There are 3 groups of 4 teams apiece, so it's 12 teams. And as far as I remember speaking to Hassan Tariq, the owner of tournament, Atlanta Open, he did mention that the top 2 will qualify and the next 4 will fight it out to get the second semi-final position. So it's a lot to play for.
There's a lot to play for, and in fact, I'll talk about it after this, what we see on the points table. Oh, whipped away into the deep. There's a man out there. What a catch! A deep backward square leg. Fantastic effort running around to his left, snatching that ball a couple of inches off of the ground. The first wicket falls. That beautiful catch taken in the deep. And all of a sudden, that is Mark Parchment running around from backward square leg. Carolina Smashers are 1 for 1.
What a catch. This will get them going. And the moment he played that shot, it looked like it was going all the way. He didn't even bother to run. But have a look at this run to his right, diving, and then taking the ball inches off the ground. Sensational catch. So Mohammad Saifuddin picks up a wicket in his very first over. The Carolina Smashers, 1 for 1.
I'll tell you what, off the bat, I thought that was 6. I have to tell you, proper flick shot, hit it cleanly, and maybe not quite getting the elevation that he wanted, but it was a clean strike. But what a piece of fielding by Mark Parchment, running around from backward square leg. So the first wicket goes down 1-for-1 is your score. And so the new batter is going to be Jeremy DeLima. Left-handed batter. Mohamed Saifuddin strikes, as you said, in his first over. So, on the contrary, as compared to the Atlanta Fire, you'd think match practice would be good for them. But what are you trying to accomplish if you're the Smashers?
Well, I haven't seen them. The last match that they played was against Samp Army. Carolina Smashers batted first. They scored 129 for 7 and went on to lose by 7 wickets. I think important to if you want to throw up a challenge, any team in this tournament would want to throw up a challenge, no matter who you're playing against.
Sure. Whether
it's going to be a Kingsman X, or Atlanta Fire, or any other team. So you got to, when you decide to go and win toss and bat first, that you got to put runs on the board. I think that's the challenge that they need to put up.
Very full, half-hearted appeal for leg before not given. By the way, the umpire standing at the back end, or the northern end of the ground, is Mark Ebanks. He hands his cap to Mohamed Saifuddin. That is the end of over number 1. 1-for-1 after 1. So 1-for-1 is your score after 1. Mr. Arthur Ali Khan, you were a top order batter when you played. I say were, you still play. You're not necessarily at the test level anymore, but you still do a thing with the bat in your hand. You lose quick wickets as a batting side, or a wicket in the first over. You're at the non-strikers end. What is your thought? How are you planning on approaching the rest of the innings?
Yeah, you dig yourself in. Make sure that you protect one end.
Justin Dill is the man with ball in hand. First delivery is cut away into the deep. Mohamed Saifuddin down here at deep third prevents the damage, or limits the damage to 1 run. So finish that thought. You want to make sure no more wickets fall, but how do you find the balance between putting on a big total, in other words, going aggressively, and making sure you don't lose any more wickets?
Yeah, you got to get yourself in. You got to get your eye in and just get used to the conditions, especially the surface. Just to figure out what the bowlers are trying to do, and at the same time, see the behavior of the surface. If the ball is coming nicely onto the bat, you take a couple of deliveries because it's a T20 format, and if it's there in the zone, in the slot, then you got to play some big shots. So you remember, first 6 overs, fielding restrictions are in place.
Played off the back foot. That is a lovely shot. Did not try to overhit it. That ball racing away, banging into the Tarek Real Estate sign for 4.
And also interesting to notice that Carolina Smashers did bat first, and they went on to post only a total of 129. That was against Samp Army. Again, winning toss and batting first here. So they got to have that mindset of, okay, maybe we missed out on maybe 20 or 30 odd runs in that particular match. So if you can get it yourself to a score of maybe 140, 150, because this surface certainly looks a lot more better for batting. So it's important to get your thought process in that direction.
Justin Dill around the wicket, slow delivery, and the fed in front of the stumps, no run. So cricket very much is a mental game as much as it is a physical game. So you're planning your innings the entire way. At some point, you're deciding, okay, I'm now settled and I can go on and push forward. How do you sort of make that decision?
Well, it takes years and years of practice, and also the match practice is nothing better than match practice. And if you've had in the past scored few runs for your team, you can get better.
Slower delivery again. Allows this one to go through to the keeper. So a couple dot balls. By the way, the umpire who's standing at the southern end of the ground is Brian Kane. Brian Kane out of New York. And so a few deliveries here. 3 deliveries, in fact, into over number 2. 6 runs on the board. So he's starting out in relatively sedate fashion, as you'd expect, since they lost an early wicket. But just looking to try to regain their efforts. That is a glove down the leg side. Is it? No. Umpire Brian Kane is thinking about it. It came off of something because he is not giving it as a wide. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I thought I heard a sound, to be really honest. I thought there was a bit of a deflection here. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, certainly. Look at the ball just deviating. It certainly has some part of the gloves, and we could hear it actually. I thought he's lucky. He's very lucky. Not the bowler. Very unlucky.
So you're a bowler. You feel that you should have gotten a wicket. Not given. And of course, the umpire's decision is final, whether or not it's correct. How do you channel your energy into the rest of your spell?
Keep doing the right things. Things can go in your favor, things can go against your favor. End of the over. 6 for 1.
So 2 overs in the books. 6 for 1 is your score. Mohamed Saifuddin about to bowl his second. First over just went for 1 run, and he took a wicket in that 1 over. So great start with the ball for him. Batter, who is now about to be on strike, has faced 2 deliveries. Aniket Walimbe, and he's 2 runs to the good. Played off the back foot. That is a lovely shot. Did not try to overhit it. It races to the point boundary for 4.
That's exactly what I mean. When I speak about the surface, as a batter, you would want the ball coming on nicely onto the bat, and you got to understand it very quickly because you need to adapt and adjust as quickly as possible. So any opportunity whatsoever, you got to latch onto it, and that was a lovely shot.
Sometimes T20 can sort of goad you into thinking that you have to hit with power. But timing sometimes is just as good as power. This one, not much power in it, but timed beautifully through that backward point area. Good comeback delivery for Mohamed Saifuddin.
Also about the gap, don't forget about picking up the gaps. If you can pick up the gaps, you can pick up boundaries, especially in the first 6 overs. Because it might get a little bit tougher for the batters to pick up boundaries because the field go back after 6 overs, after the power play. So yes, you want to play it over the top, go take the aerial route, but you can also pick up boundaries picking up the gaps.
Top edge, this is going to fly fine and go for 4. So not much in control of this one. Good pace of delivery, but 4 runs nonetheless.
Yeah, too much wide and short on the shorter side, allowing the batter to free his arms this time around. Mohamed Saifuddin just bowling a little bit too wide. And he's up for it. Ankit, nice little bit of a deft touch. Just playing it quite fine towards the third area. Because there is a fielder in third. But this one went a lot finer. They'll have to take some time to find that ball.
So, you not only played for Bangladesh, but for a while you were one of the Bangladesh selectors. So, as a selector, I'm interested in your thoughts on what you see from Mohamed Saifuddin.
Well, the first when I saw him, I thought he was a very good find for Bangladesh. But unfortunately, he's gone through a few injuries where his availability was not there. So he had gone to rehabilitation and recovery plan. But I still feel if he can maintain his fitness, he can push himself and get into back to especially the white ball format because he's a genuine all-rounder.
Mm-hmm. Hits the bat hard. Good pace of delivery. Also, it speaks to the pace in the pitch. You talked about how slow and low this other pitch was on field number 1. This pitch so far looks like its ball is coming onto the bat a lot easier.
Especially the day game, because when you come to the ground, it's got a lot of dew. And when there is dew, and if you don't have the covers, then there will be dew on the surface itself. which can be a little bit tricky earlier on. And the first 5-6 overs is very crucial.
Yorker length, and that's well played actually. Bang on target with that delivery, but he keeps it out.
And that's the challenge. Challenge for Kingsman X, the first game that they played at the ground number 1. So they only managed to score 38 of the first 6 overs, but the good thing was they did not lose any wicket in that period. But then they smashed more than 100 because they, in the next 15 overs, last 10 overs, they smashed more than 100 runs. Ended up scoring 193. So that's how you can build up a partnership and also maintain that momentum that you get into with 2 set batters and then taking the chances at the right time. End of the over. After 3, it's 15 for 1.
$15 for 1, and an interesting move here for me, Mr. Athar Ali Khan, and I want your thoughts on this. The captain has taken off his second strike bowler after just 1 over, and he's brought himself on off spin, right hand off spin, bowling to the right-handed batting Aniket Walimbe. What are your thoughts there?
Well, it can turn out to be an interesting move because nowadays, especially in this format, you probably see a lot of bowlers just bowling 1 over and get your new bowler in. So skipper feels that he's the right one now.
The pads worked on the leg side, no run.
And also the fact that you can get an idea whether the ball will get a bit of a grip and turn and bounce. And so you can have a fair amount of idea whether the spin can play a part.
Stephen Taylor, longtime servant of U.S. cricket, started playing for the U.S. as a teenager in the early 2000s. These days, a grizzled veteran, but still a servant of U.S. cricket. Opening batter and part-time off-spinner these days. Used to be genuine all-rounder. Also can keep a little bit of wicket. But starting out here, bang on target. The first 2 balls, dots. 3 balls, dots. I thought I missed one. Thank you for the backup, sir. Worked into the deep. That should be Mila Pansa down there on the boundary. So 4 deliveries in. You have 1 run on the board in over number 4.
Yeah, also the fact is there's left and right hand combinations. It's not a bad idea to bowl to a left-hander. Yes, people do at times feel that if there are 2 right-handers in the middle, might as well bring in a wrist spinner, a right-arm wrist spinner, if there's an option. Well, let's see what he does against the left-hander. Yeah, he's been quiet, Last over was a profitable one.
Going around the wicket to the left-handed Jeremy De Lima. There is the ball that he's looking for. Drifting in, pitching and turning and leaving, passing the outside edge.
Yeah, lovely delivery. Typical off-spinner delivery. That's the reason why there's a slip in place.
Gone! Hit him full and in front. Umpire Brian Kane has no doubt, raises the finger. The last ball of over number 4 gets the captain his first wicket. Score is 16 for 2.
Well, he's the skipper. He brought himself on and he's got early success. The last ball of his over, very first over. Poor shot in the end. I thought he was a little bit too full to play that kind of a shot. And then plumb in front. This time around, the umpire gives it in the favor of the bowler. So not a lot of damage done because I thought he was lucky when he was not given out down the leg side earlier on. 16 for 2 he smashes.
So 2 overs for Mohamed Shaifuddin. Saw Justin Dill bowl 1 over from the southern end. He's now switching and bowling from the north. He'll be bowling to Aniket Walimbe. 12 from 12 with 2 fours. So the Carolina Smashers have been set back here. A couple of wickets already in the power play. 4 overs up. And again, Justin Dill now coming from the northern end of the ground, looking to bowl to Aniket Walimbe. No run there. Good start for Justin Dill.
Change of ends, and the plan worked because Stephen Taylor just bought him, replacing him from the other end, and he's forced the batter to play a fall shot. So it's a good start for Atlanta Fire.
Justin Dill, a proper all-rounder, pacer and a middle-order batter. Pulled away into the deep. There will be no stopping that one. Lands 5 yards beyond the boundary, and not even Mark Parchment could get to that one. 6 over backward square leg.
Yeah, smashing. A smashing shot. Yeah, on a shorter side. And as I said earlier, this pitch is a little bit better for batting. The batters will enjoy it. It just sits up and he heaves it away for the maximum. Sails over the head of that fielder. It's a terrific shot. Not the right length from Justin Dill.
So Justin Dill bowled 1 over from the south, and I want your thoughts on what might go into the decision to switch ends, particularly as a big fast bowler. That one had pace on it. Good comeback.
Yeah, I think because of the wind blowing across the field, maybe the spinner, Stephen Taylor, the skipper, thought maybe a better idea to come and replace him. It all depends what the skipper thinks about. I mean, whatever we say, we have our own thoughts and own processes. But if you look at the skipper from different sides, will have different strategies, and they would want to execute their plans accordingly what they have discussed.
Another quick delivery. That ball that was hit for 6 was a pace-off delivery. And doesn't look like he's going to make that mistake again, because maybe he thought that Aniket Walimbe had too much time to play that pull shot. The next 2 after that have been much quicker.
I think also on the shorter side. I mean, if you want to try to take the pace of the ball, you got to be still bowl back of the length. Because you got to get the batter on the front foot. Anything on the back foot, you're asking for trouble unless it's a quick one and a well-directed short pitch delivery.
Sure. So obviously still inside the power play. We have another 8 deliveries left in the power play. 2 balls left in over number 5. Stephen Taylor now going to slip. Interesting call because he's played that pull shot twice and missed. So the idea is he's looking to catch the edge late on the shot, seeing if it will carry to slip. Oh, this one is hitting him in the chest, it felt like. He'll go through for a single. Let's see what the umpire signals here. Yep. Leg by signal there. So good comeback. First or second delivery of this over got hit for 6, but 3 good deliveries after that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Back of the length and it rears up. So he's put in a little bit more effort delivery. The last one from Justin Dill.
And so the first ball now to be faced. In fact, this is going to be Aniket Walimbe back on strike. Last ball coming up over number 5. This one goes down the leg side, so wide signaled by umpire Mark Ebanks. So on balance, with 1 ball remaining in over number 5, who do you give the advantage to in the power play?
I would still say the loss of those 2 wickets in the power play, because they haven't had a roller in the start here as a batter, because they only put on 25 in the first 6. So maybe just towards Atlanta Fire.
Cut away into the deep. 1 bounce, 2 bounces down to deep third. And that is the end of over number 5. 26 for 2 is your score. So left arm orthodox from the southern end. This is Amila Alfonso. Seen the left arm orthodox spinners have great success this morning. Of course, we're playing with a different pitch now. Sure, so one more over of the power play. And Amila Alfonso himself, left arm orthodox. Captain Stephen Taylor is at first slip, so he's looking to have the ball pitch and leave the right-handed batters. Aniket Walimbe 19 from 17. Oh my goodness, we did not need Stephen Taylor a slip for this one. He plays all around the straight delivery and is cleaned up 26 for 3.
Yeah, definitely Atlanta Fires on the top and inside the power play. Again, just a single over from Stephen Taylor. And remember, he picked up a wicket of the last ball that he bowled. And even then, he's made the change to bring in another spinner. So I think this is a really good move because Amila has picked up a wicket in his very first ball. A poor shot in the end because he's trying to whip it away on the onside, playing against the spin. And in the end, it goes and rattles the stumps. So another wicket falls. Carolina smashes 26 for 3.
My question to you, Mr. Athar Ali Khan. Brand new bowler. Left arm orthodox, so the ball is turning opposite of the way that you've seen it before. Do you immediately try to go across the spin and hit the mid wicket, or do you take a few first and sort of settle things down?
You got to take a look. You've got to take a look. You just came in and you're up against a bowler you've not seen. It's the very first delivery, and I think it was a poor shot selection. So you got to put the blame on the batter.
So the new batter in is Namish Reddy-Guram. Again, left arm orthodox, Amila Alfonso. Good delivery. Just in that channel outside off. A dot for ball number 2. So it might be a little bit tricky to accelerate from here with the loss of the wickets that they've had. The current run rate after that dot ball is 4.73. 4.73 projects, assuming they bat all 20 overs at that rate, to a score of 95. And they'll want probably 30 or 40 more than that. Flatter and quicker through the air. Another dot ball has him at sea here.
It's turning out to be a really good over from Amila. Just needs to be a little bit straighter.
And what it appears that he's doing is he's changing his pace, tossing some up, pushing some more quicker and flatter. And as of right now, Namish Reddy-Guram, I'm not quite able to read him or to pick him. Plays this off the back foot. Stopped in the backward point area and he gets off the mark with a single. So he will retain the strike. End of over number 7, or 6 rather, that's the end of the power play. Score is 27 for 3. $27 for 3. Power plays in the books. And the change in bowling from the northern end, as this is going to be Gulshan Jah take up the attack. Carolina Smashers have struggled to get something going offensively. Had a couple of good strokes. But all in all, they've been tied down by a good bowling Atlanta Fire attack. Gulshan Jah, right arm over the wickets. Pulling out his run up here.
Yeah, these innings have gone nowhere. But the problem is that when you have 2 new batters at the crease all the time, it's not a great sign. 27 for 3. Well, they got to find someone, a pair, to be at least there for another 5-6 overs.
Oh, that runs away down the hill. Wait to see if that flicked off of anything on the way through. They'll scramble through for a couple. Watch the umpire. No, these are wide, so that's 3 wide. So that will help inject some energy into the ability to put together a total that they can defend. But as of right now, they're far away from doing that. Namesh Rediguram, 1 from 5. Sate just ready. No run scored from the one ball that is faced. And yes, we're out of the power play now. So long on drops back on the boundary. Still a relatively aggressive field. This is up the outside edge. Goes down to deep third for a single. So runs coming in ones here. Athar Ali Khan, is that good enough?
You tell me, right?
Well, I'm not the one who played international cricket, so.
Hang on a second. A single's not going to win you matches. But I think you, as a batter, as a pair, you would want to get this partnership going.
Sure.
So it's starting with taking singles fine, but you could also need to find some big shots here.
Mm-hmm. No, it becomes difficult to do that. Ooh, shy at the non-striker's end, and they got him. That is a brilliant piece of work. Gulshan Jah, beautiful pickup, fires at the non-striker's end and takes out the stumps. Another wicket is down, 30 for 4.
Yeah, I reckon the stumps might be broken there. What a throw from Gulshan Jah off his own bowling. Here, look. Never run there because it was right there in the front, right next to the pitch, to the next pitch. Have a look at this. Pick up, change of angle, and the non-strike. Look at that. Broke it in half. What a throw. Incredible piece of fielding. They're all over the place. The smashers are getting smashed there. 30 for 4.
Well, when they chose to name themselves the Smashers, I don't think they meant that their own stumps were going to get smashed. Literally. Oh my goodness. 30 for 4 with 2 deliveries into over number 7. Boy. So you make the decision to go for a quick single. I get wanting to go for a quick single, but if the ball is only 10 yards away from the bowler and he's going that way anyway in his follow-through, the odds are against you getting back to the other end. Essentially, you're hoping that he misses the stumps on the throw.
I mean, if you look at the dismissal, it was the striker's call. I mean, it's not the non-striker who wanted to get the single and go on the striker's end.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he thought maybe the ball would have just gone a little bit far from the bowler.
Mm-hmm.
Was not the case, but you got to give credit to the bowler, Gulshan Jah, to be able to get close to the ball and pick up, because he was steering towards the striker's end, but all of a sudden he could gather that the non-striker was struggling, but what a great piece of throw. Bang on target. It was curtains for the one who was trying to steal a single.
Oh my goodness. So the new batter is Bhavya Mehta. And as you mentioned, as that ball is played down to deep third for a single, you're always batting with brand new batters. So nobody's settled. Nobody essentially has a good read of the pitch. And so that limits your ability to sort of accelerate as you go through this innings.
Yeah, it has been a struggle. And they need to find someone, at least someone, who can just hang around for a while. Bhavya Mehta, Saite just ready. They only faced a couple of deliveries between themselves.
Played into the offside, and I have to say it again. The pitch feels to me like it's allowing the ball to come onto the bat. So is it just the difference in sort of talent between the two teams why they're having so much trouble getting away? You can't blame the pitch, can you?
Don't think so. I think the pitch is playing pretty good. But it's a few poor decisions on the field has made them not just lost 1 or 2, but they've lost now 4 wickets for 32.
Good delivery. Comes off the inside edge, it looks like, and runs down to deep fine leg for a single. It just looked to be very late on that defensive poke.
Yeah, the surface is definitely has got a bit of a carry for the seamers also, because if you're willing to bend your back, the ball will carry nicely onto the keeper. So it hurried the batter in the previous delivery, probably thinking that it might be coming that quick onto him. Some good stuff from the bowler, Gulshan Jah.
Right into the leg side. Should just be a single. A single that brings you to 34 after 7. You're short of 5 runs and over, still scoring at the rate of 4.86. Last 14 coming up, 34 for 4.
So this is going live. I can see Sports Live, right? What about that? No idea. I don't know what's going on. Oh no, they're showing this because of the file.
Continuing with the left arm orthodox, Amilo Aponso from the southern end of the ground. 1 over so far. 1 for 1 are his figures. Baviameta 2 from 2. Sate just ready 3 from 4. So not a lot going with the bat so far for the Carolina Smashers. Oh, great delivery. Drawing him forward. Not able to get any bat on that Baviameta.
They're struggling now. They need to find ways to rotate strike, and also on the way to rotating the strike, they need to pick a few boundaries here, because this innings has gone nowhere. Again, a dot. Now, I'm not taking any credit away from the bowlers, but I think they've done a wonderful job. But the approach from the batters had not been great so far.
A couple of dots here for Milo Aponso. Oh! Did that come off the edge? Didn't carry in either way, but once again, asking a couple of questions outside that line of off stump.
He's certainly getting the ball to grip and turn.
More confident looking stroke that time. And they do well to pinch a single. That's well played. The fielder backward point at a few yards to his right. They end up getting a single, but you need much more of that at this stage.
It's another good piece of fielding from Gulshan Jah, because he's the one who was involved in that run out with picking up of his own follow through and smashing the stumps at the non-strikers end.
Literally smashing the stumps. So deep backward square leg going into position. Again, you're outside of the power play, so you can be more defensive if you'd need to be. Oh, half-hearted sort of. Not sure how to describe that shot exactly, but not making any contact with it. Last ball coming up. Only 1 run from the over so far. So he's bowled 11 deliveries. Milo Aponso only conceded 2 runs. And on the 12th, he knocks him back. So that is wicket number 5. Well, if they bowled him out yesterday for 42, what is the first inning score going to be here?
Your guess is as good as mine. Again, Amilo Aponso bowling it fuller, and as I said earlier, attacking the stumps. And the batter had no clue whatsoever. Stuck in his crease, neither back nor forward. Just playing down the wrong line. Half of the side gone back in the hut for the Smashers. It's 35 for 5 after 8.
Well, there is your Manhattan. 3 tall buildings, but apart from that, several bungalows And each of those bungalows with a dot on the top of it tells the story. Really good bowling so far for the Atlanta Fire. The Carolina Smashers finding it difficult to get going. Gulshan Jah back for his second over. Took a wicket, of course, earlier with that brilliant run out. Doesn't get credit for the wicket, but the wicket fell because of his efforts. Wanted a single there, but not given or not able to pinch one.
Yeah, they look a good unit here, don't they? Atlanta Fire. They've been on the mark. There's a couple of good overs, but then, as you rightly pointed out, Brian Walters, it's the wickets that has hurt them badly. Smashers. The bowled good line and lengths. We've seen the spinners what they've done. The spinners have picked up 3 wickets here, and the seamers have done really well to keep it tight.
Oh, trouble here. Oh, a better throw might have asked a question or two. Does end up getting back into his crease, but the pressure is building. That's when you start seeing that indecision running. Do we go? Do we not go? A direct hit there could have had him back in the hutch.
A really good backup. We saw the throw to the keeper. It was a little bit away from the keeper, but we saw that fielder from D square leg to come closer to ensure even it get past the keeper, runs were not made.
What a great delivery, fizzing through to the keeper. No run there. Rajadeep Darbar is the man with the gloves on, and a good 3 deliveries here for Gulshan Jah.
Yeah, the kind of pace he's bowling at, the kind of carry we've seen and gone past the bat in the last delivery. Get a slip in place. Put more pressure, because they've already got the top 5 back in the hut. So not a bad idea to get a slip in place at this stage of the game.
Stephen Taylor, the man at extra cover. He is the captain. I'll say more about him in a second. Stroke right past Stephen Taylor himself, and that goes away for 4. That is more what you want to see.
Oh, that's a cracking drive. That is a lovely drive of the front foot. The length was there. On a good stride in from Bhavya Mehta. Just have a look at this shot. It's on the up. It's a big booming drive. They need a few of them now.
Need plenty more of those. The reason I brought up Stephen Taylor in the conversation about slips, and let's see if you remember this. Down the leg side. Oh, that came so close to hitting the helmet. Of course, if that had hit the helmet, it would have been 5 penalty runs. Thankfully for the Fire, it did not happen, but it is down the leg side, so it's a wide. In the World Cup, U.S. against Pakistan in Dallas, Stephen Taylor took a blinder of a catch at slip. Do you remember that? He is one of the better slip fielders that you'll find anywhere. I would not be surprised if he were to listen to you and put himself back at slip. Back on the right line here. Dot ball.
Yeah, the reason for me to see whether, as a skipper, you would want to see someone in the slip squad, and whether he wants himself to be there or someone else. There is a gully in place in the catching position. What I reckon, with the kind of pace he's bowling now, Gulshan Jah, and the kind of carry that he's getting off the surface, it's not a bad idea to get an extra fielder in the slip squad.
Last ball of over number 9, and they still cannot get anything off of him. 5 runs come from the over, one of which was wide. End of 9, 40-5. Third over in a row here for Milapanso. Coming to you from field number 2 of the Byron Bear Sports. Why are we looking at me? He's the one you need to be focusing on, not me. I'm nobody. There it is. Zoom in, zoom a little bit more. More. Now to the left, there it is right there. That is the man himself, Athar Ali Khan, ladies and gentlemen, who was kind enough to leave coverage of India and Bangladesh to come all the way to Atlanta to help us cover the Atlanta Open. And Athar Ali Khan, it speaks a lot to your dedication to several things, not the least of which is the assistance for the development of cricket in this country that you have sacrificed to be here with us this week.
It's been an honor and a pleasure, to be very honest, Brian Walters, to be here and to be a part of this tournament, the Atlanta Open 2024.
Ooh, sweep. Aggressive shot. You like the intent. Doesn't make it all the way to the boundary. They'll come back for the second. Took off running late, actually, but they'll get there in the end. So more of that, please.
Yeah, that's one of the better options because he's picked the length very quickly. Because it's got to be the right length to play that conventional sweep shot.
So 3 deliveries in. This is the third over being bowled by Miller Ponzo. His figure so far, 2 for 3. So he's had the ball, 2 for 5 rather. So he's had the ball on a string, the proverbial string. A dot here. And that puts us in the position where we're 2 deliveries away from the halfway point of this innings. 5 down. How far do they get is the question. Down the leg side. Good piece of keeping. Wide signaled by not only umpire Brian Kane, but umpire Athar Ali Khan. So 3 deliveries make that, 3 deliveries remaining here in over number 10. In the air, and it's going to be 2 square for the fielder behind or in front of square, and it goes away for 4.
Now, I like the way his approach is, Bhavya Mehta. Mehta, beg your pardon. He has played the sweep shot, and now, again, the good length, he's picked the right ball to play and heave it away on the leg side and picking up the gap, 1 bounce to the fence. It's a really good shot there from Mehta. He needs to get going. So far what we've seen from the batters, from smashers, he looks a little bit better than the others.
So 48 runs on the board. Last ball coming here in over number 10. And teasing him with that length and that line. He chooses to play defensively. That is the end of over number 10. Athar Ali Khan, a pleasure, sir.
Pleasure was all mine, sir.
And we go from one experienced, handsome cricketer to another. Keshav Bahadur Singh, good afternoon. Welcome back to field number 2 for the second half of this innings.
Good afternoon, Brian. Thank you for the introduction, and definitely in high esteem to receive such praise from you.
Stop with the
A man
compliment.
of your high stature. And looking forward to this game. 48 for 5 after 10. What are your thoughts on how that first 10 overs went?
The first 10, I think the Carolina Panthers, that's a football team, an American football team. The Carolina Smashers would have preferred if instead of 48 for 5, they were 72 for 2. I think they've lost too many wickets. And this is a new bowler, by the way, coming in now from the northern end of the ground. This is Fani Simhadre. Left arm, not anywhere near as quick as the other pace bowlers who bowled already, but he led the minor leagues for about 2 seasons, if I remember correctly, in wickets. He is a wicket-taking bowler. Do not let the lack of pace fool you. He's deadly accurate. He changes pace with subtle variations. He can be very difficult to get away.
Well, you know what they say about left-arm fast bowlers.
I mean, of course. Once you're a left-arm fast bowler, that's half the battle right there.
Correct. I think wicket taking is synonymous with being a left-arm fast bowler.
Slow it through the air, play it down to long on, should just be a single. So how do you reconstruct, maybe reconstruct might not be the right word, how do you start putting together a total that you can try to defend? 49 runs on the board, you're down to the last 59, make that 58 run balls left in the innings. How do you start building towards something that you can defend?
Well, I would say at this stage they should just look to rotate the strike, try and get those ones and twos and put away any bad balls. But definitely they don't need to take any unnecessary risks or play any unorthodox strokes to cause further damage.
Slow it through the air, struck away just wide of long off, but a good strong throw from the deep means that just one run has been scored. So I like the idea of rotating the strike. Hopefully, with 5 wickets down, the batters who are still to come can get that memo. But at some point, you need to see if you can put a big total on the board. Oh, good Yorker. That's a good piece of keeping behind the stumps. That's Rajdeep Darbar. Good work there to prevent that one from going away for runs.
Yeah, I think if it passed the keeper, it would have certainly sped away to the boundary. So, excellent attempt from the keeper. And in terms of batting first, we have seen this surface in the second game. Ball carrying through a bit more.
Ooh, that may be the quickest delivery that I've ever seen Fanis Samhadri bowl. Bent his back that time. Didn't get the line right, but again, that's the variety that I was talking about. You're expecting military medium, and then he can do this. Not anywhere near the quicker bowlers in the tournament, but that would have surprised the batter. Slower ball this time, a swipe and a miss. He played about a week early. 2 runs come from the over. 50, make that 3 runs from the over. 51 for 5 is your score.
It just goes to show you the importance of variations. Extremely quick delivery followed up by one that was very slow. And the batsman missed both, in fact. Quick one was unfortunately badly lined, as you said, so signaled a wide, but another one was a dot delivery. And what I like about him is that his run-up is short, but smooth and fluent. It just seems to be about 10 or 12 footsteps when he reaches to the crease, but very fluent indeed.
Well, left-arm fast bowlers aren't all built the same. Some have run-ups that start beyond the boundary line. It's like a freight train coming from the distance, if you will. And then others take 10 steps.
I wonder which one of those bowlers, which one of those categories did you fall in?
Interestingly, both. Started out from down here, and by the time it ended up, literally, sometimes they'd say, the umpire would say, are you a bowling spin or pace? I'm like, pace, but from 3 steps.
It's Ansh Patel into the attack. Left arm wrist spinner.
Ooh. So, there's not that many left arm bowlers in the first place. There's not that many wrist spinners in the first place. To find a left arm wrist spinner is to find, the needle in the haystack, if you will.
Yes. It definitely is a forgotten art. And I can mention a legendary left arm wrist spinner from my home country, Trinidad and Tobago, Dave Mohammed, who played for the West Indies. And also just a throwback to the past, Inchan Ali.
Way, way back to the past.
Yeah, legend from Trinidad and Tobago. In fact,
you were not born.
No, definitely not. But I do have the privilege of playing in the park where he was named after.
Oh, knocked him over. Yet another batter is clean bowled, and the wheels continue to fall off of the vehicle here for the Carolina Smashers. They're 52 for 6.
And that's an excellent delivery from Patel. And you can see just running wideish off the stumps. And that was a googly, in fact, pitching outside of the off and going through the gates between bat and pad and hitting the top of off stump. It really is refreshing, I must say, to see that variety from the youngster, because left arm wrist spin is nothing easy to do. Everyone associates, right arm leg spin being difficult, but from my colleagues who bowl left arm wrist spin, it's chalk and cheese. It's a totally different game.
Every once in a while, I'd get into the nets and just mess around to see if I could do that. It is exceptionally difficult. Can you replicate the action? Yes. Can you get it to land in the same zip code, 2 balls in a row? No. and so to be able to bowl a googly that starts outside the line of off stump, obviously with the left-hander bowling wrist spin, it's turning away, the stock ball is turning away from the left-handed batter. To get this one to come back in and kiss the top of off is a brilliant piece of bowling.
The youngster striking in his first over. Captain Taylor just making a minor field adjustment. Sending the long on fielder wider to his right. And that's exactly where the ball goes towards. So smart thinking from the captain. Of course, somebody with all of his experience. You wouldn't expect anything less.
Oh my goodness, yes. Stephen Taylor with loads of experience, if I remember correctly. Well, look, I was on the board from 2012 to 2014. He was playing for the team then. So he's definitely been around for a while. Ooh, asking a question outside the line of off. That is the last ball of over number 12. 53 for 6 is your score.
Thus far for the Atlanta Fire, Aponzo picking up a couple wickets, Udon with 1 and Patel with 1, as well as Stephen Taylor himself sharing up those 6.
Stephen Taylor brought himself on in the power play. By the way, you'll note if you add up those wickets, you'll get 1 less than 6.
Correct, and the run out.
Wrapping him on the pad and dead in front. Well, and so that is wicket number 7. Fanny Samadri gets into the act. First ball of over number 2 for him. Traps John Vijay dead in front. That is wicket number 7.
This one pitching in line of the leg stump and striking him on the pads. And you can even see from the replay that the umpire was looking keenly at where the ball pitched to ensure that it was in line and raising his finger to send the batsman back inside.
So for those who are not familiar with LBW rules, and that would include probably 75% of people who know cricket, LBW is both the simplest rule to understand and the most difficult. The idea is if the ball is hitting you on the pad when in the umpire's judgment it would have hit the stumps had your pad not stopped it, you're out LBW. But there are several different conditions that need to be satisfied. One of the main ones here that umpire Mark Ebanks was thinking about was this pitching outside the line of off stump. That's always something to consider if you have a right-handed batter and a left-handed bowler bowling over the wickets. But Fanny Samadri gets relatively close to the stumps when he bowls, and he's a little bit round arm. He's not coming from right over the top. So it's easier for him to get the ball to pitch on because he's bowling round arm. And for me, that, as you mentioned, I think that's pitching on leg stump and going on to smash into middle and leg.
Striking with a wicket off his first delivery in this over. Let's see if he can pick up any more and continue with this tight bowling. Very good line and length.
Talked about the run out. Did you see the run out?
Unfortunately, I did not. I was across on field one, observing that game.
Then you missed about the most exciting piece of video that I've seen in a while. I'll tell it to you after this ball. Defended for no run. In fact, they'll go and pinch a single. That's good running. So, the bowler, Gulshanja, bowls a delivery. Defended into short mid-wicket. They take off for a single, right where that artificial pitch is. One action, picks, throws, hits the leg stump at the non-striker's end, breaks it in half. The stump literally broke in half. So find that video before we're done here, because it is a brilliant piece of video, if nothing else. Number one, it speaks to great accuracy and a good athleticism by the bowler himself. But being able to break the stumps in half, that was actually a nice little bonus.
And that sounds like a must-watch. Sure, it'll be in the highlights reel. And is it that he threw the ball so hard, or is it that the stump itself might have been a bit fragile?
Well, I will answer that question by saying this, and I am so upset that it happened in practice and not in a match. I once bowled one of my teammates in practice, middle stump, the stump broke in half. And I'm like, how could that not have been in a game? I would have loved to have seen more than me and a couple of other guys seeing it. So, if you ask me, it was a brand new stump that just came right off of the assembly line. The reality is it was probably, I don't know, dry rotted and easy to break.
I think in your case, it was just genuine raw piece that led to the stump being broken.
I tried to tell them that.
I'm sure. No doubt in my mind.
Oh, appeal for leg before. I tell you what, it's a change of pace again. Had him playing a little too early. What do you see there?
Well, I think even from the moment he turned around to the umpire, he knew that most likely it was not out, because he sort of held his hands in a praying position, as if to just say, umpire, would you be minded to give me the benefit of the doubt? But, with a nice smile on his face, he just took his hat and finished that over. Another excellent one indeed.
54 for 7. Here's a question for you, Mr. Bahadur Singh. The Atlanta Fire, the match yesterday lasted all of 4 or 5 overs in the field. So far, needless to say, the Carolina Smashers are well and truly on the back foot. And whatever they score, you get the sense that they will not necessarily, the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Fire, they won't be tested in chasing the runs. At least that's what you think.
Yes, exactly. If we are going based on what we saw yesterday, they are going to chase down these runs, probably within the power play, depending on the score that the Smashers finish on.
Do you think that they have enough match practice so far?
That's a great question as well, because when you come to play against the teams that are a bit more difficult, with tougher opposition, it will be a true test of their mettle and their strength. I recall some coaches used to say back in the day when I was training as a young cricketer myself that it's all good to win and win comfortably, but sometimes the biggest lessons that you learn is through losses. And not to say that you want to lose, but you don't want to get complacent in winning, which I think is the main point.
Good strike down the ground. That's going to go for 6. I'll tell you what, that was a shot of intent by Viametta. Now up to 21 from 26, 2 4s, and that 6 that you just saw, all is not lost yet for the Carolina Smashers.
Well, just as you mentioned the issue of complacency, we don't want the Atlanta Fire to basically loosen their stronghold on the batsmen of the Carolina Smashers. That delivery was just tossed up and there to be hit. And granted, the fielder is out at long on, and a tall guy at that, but it really was a comfortable shot and got it cleanly over the ropes in the end.
So what adjustment is made here? Down the ground, won't get all the way for 4, and in fact, they may be able to come back for 2. Thought 2 might have been on. In retrospect, probably not a good idea. A good piece of fielding by Mark Parchment. So 8 runs from the over already. Last ball coming up here in over number 14. Dead bats this one. No run. 8 runs from the over. Productive one by relative standards. That means that Bavio Meta 15 from 25. In fact, the scoreboard has not yet updated. Make it 22 from 27. Parvin Goyat, who just recently came to the wicket, 2 for 5, 62 for 7 is your score. Yes. So here's the run out we talked about. Clean pickup. Fire. Bang!
Wow.
Is that a beautiful shot right there?
It really is.
Outstanding. Back to live action. Is this a stumping? No, umpire Brian Kane says that back foot was still inside the crease.
Looking at that replay, I must say he did throw the ball with quite some force.
Yes.
And in fact, it hit close to the base of the stump where there might be a bit of tenderness in the stump itself.
Sure.
As the fact that the base remained within the stump hole and the top just completely spiraled. You know, it just goes to show you excellent work, and I'm sure they have a replacement stump in place there.
I mean, yes.
Always good to have backups, right?
Yes. Wrapping him on the pad. Umpire not interested. He'll sneak a leg by here. Vanessa Hadre with the double teapot, if you will. Or as we say in the Caribbean, arms akimbo. So runs are at a premium. You saw that one nice shot in the previous over that went for 6. But all in all, the scoring rate is only 4.4. You're going to need to accelerate past that. The current run rate projects to 88 runs. Slow it through the air, Vanessa Hadre. Again, very subtle changes in pace, in length, in line, and that's why he gets a ton of wickets.
And you can even see that delivery actually got a bit of purchase off of the surface. One of those cutters.
Yep.
He's rolling his fingers across the seam.
Yo, he can take that easy as you like. That time, Parvin Goyat playing way too far out in front of his body and gives the simplest of return catches to Vanessa Hadre, 63 for 8.
Can you ask for an easier cotton bowl? It was actually going in the direction of his follow through as well. Because, you know, many times bowlers have to readjust. And as you see, that delivery held in the pitch a slight bit. And he was very comfortable going away to his right. So, unfortunately, the batsman has to go. I think he premeditated that shot and played a bit too early, which led to his demise. But really tough going here for the Carolina Smashers. 63 for 8 and 14.4. And it brings Varun Papuri to the crease.
So Vanessa Hadre warming up. Varun Papuri joins Bavia Meta, who's 22 from 29. But boy, do we start lowering our expectations? Do we say, let's get to triple digits and see what happens? Or do we say, let's bat out the 20 overs and see what happens?
Well, I think at this stage they have on or around 32 deliveries remaining in the innings. Even if they were to get a run a ball, they would reach up to 95. So 5 runs short of that 100 target.
Seamlessly doing that math. That was impressive.
It's just your energy and aura that's rubbing off on me.
You know what? I'm going to stop giving you compliments. What is this? Appealing for a leg before. Umpire Marky Banks is not interested. And Vanessa Hadre now into, in fact, last ball for his third over. See what happens here. Ooh, that was close. The question that umpire Mark Ebanks would have had to ask is this outside the line of off stump?
Yep. I think he decided that it was, giving the batsman a benefit of the doubt.
Oh, bang on target with the Yorker. It's such a good delivery. A good ball to end over number 15. And the 15 score is 63 for 8.
And they're really not making it easy at all for the Carolina Smashers with those sort of deliveries. We have seen the full bag of tricks on display from one of the bowlers. Whether it be a spinner, you're seeing full variations, and not just variations in terms of turning the ball both ways, but also using the crease and the position of their delivery, sometimes going closer to the stumps and creating that angle, whereby sometimes they also go wide off the stumps and just makes a different element for the batsman when he has to play the ball. You can face the same type of delivery from those two different angles and you'll get two different results. So Mehta on strike. And that's wide outside of the off stump and gets a healthy bottom edge to run to the boundary. In fact, it doesn't touch the bat at all because byes are being signaled by the umpire. And that is indeed a great blessing for the Carolina Smashers. Sure, they would happily welcome that 4.
So byes are signaled. Stephen Taylor was in with a shout to be able to dive and stop that. I'm wondering why it wasn't wides. And by the way, that I'm being harsh because obviously I didn't see the signal. Not obviously, but right in line with me right now and Brian Kane is the fielder number 7. So I couldn't actually see what he was signaling.
Well, from looking at where the ball pitched, it seemed to be just within the wide line. But I think after it passed the wide line, it turned away from Stephen Taylor with the natural angle, that being the googly to the right-hander and the left-arm wrist spinner. And that is an orthodox left-arm leg spinner. I'm not sure if you have ever heard the term Chinaman used, but just to give you some context, in Trinidad and Tobago, a left-arm leg spinner, that type of delivery is referred to as a Chinaman.
Swipe and a miss. I'm very familiar with the term. Used it frequently in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s. These days, it's highly politically incorrect.
Correct.
Correct. So we just say left arm unorthodox or left arm wrist spin.
Left arm wrist spin for ease of reference.
Exactly.
It just goes to show you how cricket is ever evolving with the culture of society and taking all of that into its stride.
Number one, let me say this. I think it's a positive move to modify several of the terms in cricket for that reason. Stealing a single here, whoa, a little bit casual there by Stephen Taylor. They eventually steal what is now being signaled as a bye. For example, third man, in fact, when we are commentating, we're given a list of terms that we need to modify. So no longer third man, either deep third or short third. No longer man of the match, it's player of the match. There is not yet a modification to, for example, some terms, you have to use them. So, for example, and I'm not thinking of the position right now, but some of them you can't help but use the phrase. But if there's any way that it connotes anything other than androgyny, if you will, then the idea is to not make it sound like it's favoring one gender versus the other.
Definitely agree. I think a perfect example as well is instead of batsman, we use batter.
That's exactly the one I was trying to remember just now. I couldn't think of it. Old age and all. In the air, landing short of Amila Ponzo, and then they'll steal a single to boot. Oh, this is good stuff.
Yeah, we've seen a couple deliveries just hold up in the pitch, as in the batsmen are playing on the front foot, but the ball is just popping into the air. So I'm sure Sim Hardy would be looking for another wicket.
Ask the question. Umpire Brian Kane says yes, 69 for 9. Make that 70 for 9.
And I just mentioned that he would be looking for another wicket, and he answers the call. but very, very impressive glove work.
Yes.
Must be said from Darbar.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, the batsman really and truly didn't move that much out of his crease.
No.
But when he collected the ball, I believe his back foot just slid out.
Oh my goodness.
And you can see maybe just a matter of an inch, if so much. But the batsman didn't even have time to react.
That is such good work. Okay, so going back into the memory banks, and this is probably within the last 2 or 3 years I was playing, and well and truly at this stage, just a medium pacer coming off of 3 steps. Had a really good young keeper in our side, and he kept up to me, it is so irritating. You still see yourself as the big fast bowler coming in from 25 yards away.
I would think you'd be at least by the 30-yard circle for a man of your pace. Come on.
Not only did he keep up to me, somewhere in one of those old scorebooks somewhere, there's a line that says Patel stumped Rohit bowled Brian. That makes me look like a spinner, and I just don't like that.
Wrapping him on the pads, but outside the line, umpire unfazed. And a bit of an errant throw towards the stump, but good backing up down at the long on region. And again, another welcome run added to the score.
Welcome.
Leg byes now being signaled by the umpire. So I'm sure at this point they'll take it by any means, whether they are extras, whether they're off the bat or not.
Mm-hmm.
They need to at least get, if they could get to that 100 mark, it would be so great, but it just seems so difficult at this stage.
Boy, this is good work. You mentioned the glove work for Darbar. Really good, quick behind the stumps, and collects it so easily. One motion is collecting and looking to affect the stumping at the same time.
Very impressive indeed. And he's bowled him. Strikes again. Does Fani Simardi and gets his 4th wicket, is it?
Yep.
Yes, 4th wicket indeed. And I think he's just checking the keeper to ensure that he's all right. I'm not sure if the Bears actually flew into the face of the wicket keeper. A lot of the players just gathering around him as we take a look on replay. Hitting the top of the stump. And yes, I think
that bat swinging afterward, I think, is what got him. Inadvertent, of course, and I would think completely accidental, but he gets to wear one.
At the same point. So, Sim Hardy, 3.5 overs, 1 made and 4 wickets for 5 runs. And definitely the pick of the bowlers for the Atlanta Fire. And as we take a look at the scorecard, in terms of the batting scorecard, firstly for the Carolina Smashers, top score of 23 from Bhavya Mehta and Aniket Walimbe, 19. The second top score, third top score actually being extras with 15. So it's a very unique situation here where you only have 2 players reaching into double figures, and the rest of scores 0, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1.
Wow. So very binary looking scorecard here. Talking about the bowlers, dominated. Second name from the bottom, Fani Simhadri. 3.5 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 5. Is that a misprint? Absolute brilliant bowling from Fani Simhadri. And again, if you want something done properly, you ask a left-hander, because Amila Panso is the second best bowler on the day. 3 overs, 2 for 10, 1 wicket each. In fact, 1 wicket for Ansh Patel, 1 wicket for Shaifuddin. The only man who does not, 2 men don't take a wicket. Justin Dill, 2 for 13. And even though Gulshan Jah does not take a wicket, you saw that run out that we talked about earlier. So, boy, we may get paid for a full day's play and not actually do a full day's work today. Because you're all out here in over number 17, and you would not think that they would need 20 overs, the Atlanta Fire, to chase down this total.
Given the fact that they chased down the total yesterday of just over 40 runs in a within a few overs, I think 4 to 5 overs. I'm pretty sure they'll be looking to repeat that sort of feat. Sometimes, teams tend to vary their strategies and they tend to mix up the batting order, but I don't think it would be the case in this innings. I think they're going to go out with the intention to win as quickly and as comfortably as possible.
Well, to that point, if we look at the points table, look at the Atlanta Fire, and the number one thing that jumps out for me on this scorecard, as we look at, you can't see it on your screen, but the net run rate that the Atlanta Fire has is 8.6. When have you ever seen a net run rate of 8.6? The next highest net run rate in this entire tournament is 4.5. And that tells you that if the Atlanta Fire can chase this, in, let's say, 71 runs, let's say they chase it in 8 overs, 9 overs, they will have such a stranglehold on the number one spot in this entire tournament. Because even for those of you who are not familiar, net run rate essentially is the number of runs that you score divided by the number of overs that you bat. And then you do the same calculation for your opponent. The difference between those is your net run rate. Needless to say, the higher the net run rate, essentially the more dominant a team you are. So, another short day for us, you would think. But a short break at this stage because we're going to have a little bit of a break for the groundskeepers to do what they do. So maybe in about 10 minutes or so, we'll be back to see how quickly the Atlanta Fire can chase down 72 runs. Signing off for the moment from the Parham Bears Cricket Complex in Ryder, Georgia. See you soon. Welcome back to the Paramvera Sports Complex in Rydell, Georgia. Carolina Smashers and Atlanta Fire. Carolina Smashers only able to put together 71 runs. And you would think that the Atlanta Fire would not have much trouble getting to this target. Stranger things have happened in cricket though, and all the Carolina Smashers need is 10 good balls. You can get 10 good balls quicker than you can get 71 or 72 runs. Immediately starting off here, this is the left arm pacer Aditya Padala. First ball cut to backward point for no run. This is Rajdeep Darbar and Gulshan Jha who is opening the batting for the Atlanta Fire. Not a whole lot in terms of a target that they need to get. And you would think that under the current circumstances, they could treat this as batting practice, and this is whipped away off the hips down to deep backward square for 4. So 4 runs to start over number 2, the second delivery of the innings. I said the second delivery of the over number 1 worked away for 4, often running 4 runs on the board. By the way, this is Brian Walters. I'm with you solo for the time being. At some point, I should have a partner. But for the time being, 4 runs on the board, so you need only 6 to 8 more runs. Not a very big chase, obviously, and you're looking to make sure that you just make an impact some way. That's what you need to be thinking if you're the Carolina Smashers. Yes, they only have a small total to defend, but your idea is to at least make the Atlanta Fire work for these runs. You want them to at least be challenged in some way. Make them get out of second gear, because they can, in theory, get these runs without much fuss. They're a good, strong batting side, and your job here is to make them at least work for it. Into the deep, they'll jog a second run here, in fact, another single. So 5 runs on the board already. Your target, again, is 67 more runs. Came in needing 72 runs to win this match. You're inside the power play. No more than 2 people allowed outside. There is a fielder at deep cover. And there's a deep square leg. So you're protecting the boundaries square, which means that mid-on and mid-off are inside the circle. So you don't want to be too full here. You don't want to be too short. Ooh, fizzes by the outside edge. They'll be able to sneak a bye here, I believe, as that's not collected cleanly by Bhavya Mehta. There's a signal from umpire Brian Kane, so you get a bye. And 1 ball remaining now here in over number 1. 5 runs on the board. Make that 6 runs on the board. And you don't have very many runs to defend, but the idea is to at least, again, just make them work for it. Last ball over number 1. Cut away over the top for 4. That's a good looking strike. Gave him just a touch of width, and he climbs into it, Rajdeep Darbar. 5 runs before that. With that boundary, he gets up to 9, and the score is 10 without loss. One over is in the books. 10 runs are on the board. Another 62 needed for the Atlanta Fire from the next 114 balls with 10 wickets in hand. So for me, that adds up to a pretty simple conclusion. The Atlanta Fire, it's not a question of if, but a matter of when they'll get past this target. You qualify it by saying that stranger things have happened, and you do want to make sure that you go through the entire effort to drag this game as deep as you can. But if you're a betting person, which I am not, by the way, but if you're a betting person, your bet would be on The Atlanta Fire finishing this sometime before the 10 over break. Down to mid-off. Has a shot at the stumps. Ooh, didn't miss by much, but they steal a single anyway. Bowler, by the way, is Parveen Goyat. Right arm leg spinner. Tossing that one up. Asking a question or two, but immediately getting a run. So Goshanja now on strike. Faced one ball already. In fact, that was the one ball that you saw him face. Parveen Goyat with a man deep at cow corner and a man at long on. So he's expecting the hitters to go on the leg side. And it's coming directly toward me here. Not fielded the ball in a while. Almost had the chance to field one. But it goes away for 4. So, good solid strike off the middle of the bat. Couple of bounces. Told you where the two fielders were in the deep. But that ball bisected that gap pretty expertly. It goes away for 4. So 15 runs on the board, another 57 needed. You would think, given the start that they have, that you're looking to make sure that you at least capitalize on that start. Played off the back foot into the covers, no run. 3 deliveries into over number 2, I'm sorry. 3 balls are left. 15 runs on the board. So your idea now is just to make sure that you bowl some type of delivery that you can sort of try to build some pressure. And it will be hard to build pressure with only 57 runs remaining for victory, but that would be the aim. Skied, nobody out there. It will go all the way. Did it go for 6? Watch umpire Ebanks. Yes, he signals that it goes for 6. And so now you're only 51 runs away. Getting this one just a little too full and a little too wide. And that just affords Rajdeep Darbar the opportunity to open his shoulders up and go big over cover for the first 6 of the innings. So you have all kinds of trouble here. You knew you were going to have trouble defending such a small total, but already they're off to the races in terms of their scoring rate. 12.6 is the current scoring rate. Oh, it's the toe end of the bat and it's taking a short mid-wicket. So he was looking dangerous there, Rajdeep Darbar. But that comes off of the Q end of the bat. Wanting to go in the same direction that he did earlier to the ball that came out here. That previous one came off of the middle of the bat. This is off the Q end. Look at this. He plays that slog sweep. And you might just be able to pick it up here. They're wanting to go big, but it essentially comes off again the Q end, and a pretty simple catch actually taken at mid wicket. So first wicket is down. I said earlier you don't get to 10 wickets without first getting to 1, and you can bowl 10 good balls before the opposition can get 71 runs or 72 runs. As of right now, you are 1 wicket to the good. The Atlanta Fire are 21 for 1 with 1 ball remaining here in over number 2. So the new batter coming to the crease is Mark Parchment. Mark Parchment has been around a while. Played his first class cricket in Jamaica. And let's see what you can do here. You want to get through the over without much more fuss. You want to be able to, if possible, build some more pressure. You've certainly already taken 1 wicket, and you want to get to the point where you actually have the Atlanta Fire have to work for these runs. So let's see how Mark Parchment can go here. Work for these runs. So let's see how Mark Parchment can go here. Last ball here in over number 2. Outside the line of off. Too far outside the line of off. Mark Parchment, I mentioned that he played his cricket in Jamaica. Went to Monroe College in Jamaica. Plays this lovely shot through extra cover for 4. High front arm, no flourish whatsoever. Just timed it to perfection. And it races through that extra cover area for a boundary. So a wicket falls, but you do get one more run. One more boundary. That lovely 4 through extra cover for Mark Parchment. 46 more runs needed. After 2, the score is 26 for 1. So 2 overs in the books. Aditya Padala to bowl his second over. This is played into the covers, no run. Left arm fast bowler. Seen a lot of left arm bowlers in this match, and really this entire tournament featuring a lot of left armers. So the left arm spin this morning do a lot of damage. As of right now, you're looking to see what you can get done with Aditya Padala. Played into the covers. So a couple of dots to start over number 2. Over number 3, my apologies. Aditya Padala, 1.2 overs. 9 runs conceded. You saw Parvin Goyat with his first over that went for 16, but he did give up, or he did take a wicket. And in the meantime, stringing together a number of dots here, which is exactly what you want to do. As I said earlier, even though they only need to score from here the rate of 2.63 to win, which is not very much at all, doesn't require a whole lot in terms of dedication or in terms of flourish. But it does mean that you want to have to make them work for it. That is cut away behind point. That's a good looking shot for Gulshan Jah. And it goes all the way for 4. So maybe just a touch too wide that time for Aditya Padala. Looking at this replay, you'll see here, yeah, definitely too wide. Even though it was coming into him, it started from too wide a line, and then the length was short enough that you could easily get onto the back foot, which is exactly what Gulshan Jah did. Just want to make sure that you get that ball just a little straight. I don't want it too straight, but certainly straighter than the previous one. That's a good ball there. Play to backward point for no run. And so you're down to the last ball here in over number 3. 4 runs from the over so far. 1 ball remaining. 30 runs are on the board in the equivalent stage, meaning 1 ball remaining in over number 3. The Carolina Smashers had 15 runs on the board. And so essentially the Atlanta Fire have doubled their output, the output of the Carolina Smashers. So the question you're going to ask is, when do they overhaul that total? It's probably not too far away, because that goes through extra cover. A good firm stroke off of the middle of the bat going through extra cover. So 8 runs come from the over. At the end of over number 3, the score is 34 for 1. So 3 overs up. Do we bring back Parvin Goyat? No, we don't. We go to a different bowler. This is going to be Mitanch Nityanandam. You're looking to see how you can prize out another wicket. Mitansh Nityanandam batted early. You saw him with the bat. His score when he batted, unfortunately, he scored as many as I did. 4 runs to the total, or 4 balls, but did not add any runs to the total. And so now he's going to be looking to make up for it with the ball in hand. Don't have a whole lot of runs behind him to defend. Just another 38 needed. Tall right arm fast bowler. Short played off the back foot by Parchment. It's a good line. The length possibly a little too short, and maybe when he's more settled, Mark Parchment might deal with that type of delivery differently, but just punching it into the offside here for no run. At the end of over number 3, as I mentioned, 15 runs on the board for the Carolina Smashers in their innings. Atlanta Fire, as of right now, 34 runs after 3. Hammered away, but there's a man out there in the deep. Just went straight to him on a couple of bounces, so just bowling to his field here. That's a good piece of work so far by Nityanandam. So we'll see exactly how you go here, because you're looking to find out whether or not you can again take this game deep. The idea is to make them work for it, and even though the two teams appear to be unmatched or unevenly matched, you still want them to be able to work, as I said earlier, to try to get out of second gear. As of right now, Nityanandam to continue. Over the top, nobody out there. 1-2 bounces, goes for 4 over backward point, committing the cardinal sin of going too wide. You don't want to give anyone that much width. And he cashes in. Look at this replay. Comes running in. I like the angle, left or right arm over the wicket to the left-hander, but if it starts that wide and then is moving away, that provides the batter the opportunity to free his arms and play that through the offside. Absolutely, just planting that one well over the top of backward point. Goes over for 4. So you're more than halfway there now. 40 runs on the board. You only need another 32 for victory. Knocks him over. That's what happens when you bowl straight. I'll tell you what, Goshan Jha was trying to hit that one into field number 1, but late on the shot, and the persistence of Nityanandam pays off. Maybe the coaches will always tell you try to hit the top of off. I think you'll see on the replay that this is that type of delivery. He's batting on an off stump line, so it's kind of hard to get bowled like that. But look at that delivery, starting outside off and curling back in to hit the top of off stump. That is a brilliant piece of bowling by Mitansh Nityanandam. So does the work here. Didn't do it with the bat, but does it already here with the ball. Good delivery. And sends back Gulshan Jha, 14 from 11 with 3 fours. 2 balls remaining now in over number 4, but 2 wickets are down. So essentially what you're trying to do, as I said earlier, is put yourself as the Carolina Smashers in the position where you're making the Atlanta Fire work. And a couple of wickets that have fallen so far will let the Atlanta Fire know that it will not be smooth sailing the rest of the way. So last ball coming up here in over, make that second to the last ball coming up here in over number 4. And in the meantime, I think you'll see where there has been a decent amount of energy to be sort of trying to get back into the game. You're trying to make sure that your bowlers know that you're behind them. And here is Nityanandam, played off the back foot. This is going to be Rohit Kumar Paudel. So back here at the Atlanta Open, 40 runs on the board, another 32 needed for victory. And after I bowled a really long opening spell, I am joined by a real professional, Mr. Mr. Arthur Ali Khan. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, and apologies. Got stuck with something that I should have taken care of earlier on. Sorry about that. After 4:40 for 2.
So, Mr. Arthur Ali Khan, you're defending 72 runs. That's not exactly a big ask for the Atlanta Fire, but all you're trying to do if you're the Carolina Smashers is to make them work for it. 2 wickets down so far, so you're making them at least get out of second gear.
Atlanta Fire are the one who are chasing. Smashers are the one who are defending. So, I mean, you really don't have too much to work around with unless you're thinking about picking up wickets. And if you look at the field set, they're just pretty spread out. I don't see anybody in the catching position. So once you score not too many runs on the board, and it gets difficult. It really gets very, very difficult to defend that low total. But you got to get the fielders on and get them in and try to force the batter to play over the top, and just hope that it goes into the hands. Otherwise, it's just too easy. There you go. Just a dab onto the offside, another single taken.
Well, 31 runs needed, 41 on the board. You need 31 runs, and you need them in 94 balls. So I suspect, well, you can certainly go out there and score those runs. I suspect I could be your partner out there, and you and I can knock off those runs. What do you think?
You wish. I ain't going there. I'm
Played
happy
into the leg side. Could we go out there with a runner? Do you think that we could stipulate that we have runners?
Well, you talk about yourself, Brian. I mean, if I'm going, then I'm going to bat. But I'm happy to be here and just to describe the game the best that I can. But yes, Smashers are not really good with the bat, and obviously they picked up 2 wickets. But have a look at that run rate. It's just the 5th over, and they've gone across 42 runs now.
Oh, look at this, going back to a full ball. You don't ever want to do that. Tickles the furniture, 3 wickets down. All not done yet.
Well, that's exactly what the Smashers need to do, pick up wickets. And it was a little bit fuller. And again, the batter not really moving his feet. Have a look at this replay. Stuck in his crease, neither forward nor but just moving away and exposing the stumps, and all it to do is beat the bat, and it crashes onto the stumps. It's a good wicket for his Smashers.
Certainly a good wicket. 42 for 3 is your score. My goodness, 2 balls remaining in over number 5. Can you do something that will make them at least have to shift into 3rd gear or 4th gear? It appears to be the captain, Stephen Taylor, walking into bat right now. Imposing figure, generally opens the batting. My suspicion is that they were essentially giving chances to people who usually come down the order to come up and bat. Possibly that would be the consideration. By the way, what do you think about that? Do you think that you want to give people a chance, or do you want to keep the batting order the way you'd want to have it if you were playing a more, let's say, a more dominant team?
You see, it's important for them to realize the fact that they have not been tested, Atlanta Fire. They only batted 4.4 overs when they knocked off those 44 runs.
Yeah.
And not a lot of batting. So just go and bat. Yes, you've lost 3 wickets. And as a skipper, you would want to be in a good form when you take on perhaps a little bit more stronger opposition.
Oh my goodness! Stephen Taylor comes, Stephen Taylor goes. 42 for 4.
And he's on a hat trick. Now what is happening here?
Wow!
Aditya Padala is making the ball to talk. The very first delivery, he's picked up a wicket in his previous delivery, and the first ball to the skipper. There's a big swing from the skipper, just kept a little bit low, and it goes through the defenses. And can they make something out of this? They needed wickets. He's got 2 and 2.
Oh my goodness. So, we've said it a number of times already today. Cricket is not played on paper, it's played on the field. On paper, it looks like the Atlanta Fire is a much stronger team, but you still need to perform on the field of play. As of right now, the question to be asked is, do you actually, or can you put them in a position where they're actually working to win this as opposed to coasting to an easy victory?
Well, it's all about taking wickets now, and they've got themselves into some sort of position here from 42 to 42 for 4 in 2 ball, in just a space of 2 balls. And I just suspect that Mohammad Saifuddin has just come into bed, was not ready to come in because the fielders had to wait for him to make sure that he had the gears on. But is there a twist in the offer?
Is there a twist? Because that first delivery to Stephen Taylor was from the left armour around the wicket. Bowling to the left-handed Stephen Taylor knocks back his off stump. So he's staying around the wicket, Aditya Padala, and he's bowling now to the man that we talked about earlier, Mohammad Saifuddin. He's played a very high level of cricket, obviously playing for Bangladesh, but does he have enough to keep out the hat-trick ball? Here it is. Solid in defense, no run. That is the last ball of over number 5. I'll tell you what, 2 wickets or 2 balls make 2 runs in that over, but also 2 wickets. At the end of 5, the score is 42 for 4. So the last over of the power play is upon us. 5 overs in the books, 42 runs on the board. So they're scoring at the rate of 8.4 and over. The scoring rate really doesn't even matter for either team at this point. The only thing that matters is wickets. And to the extent that you can try to keep taking wickets, I like what you said earlier, Athar Ali Khan. Let's not have a defensive feel. Let's put people in catching positions and see if you can force them to go over the top. And if they go over the top, fine. You only had 72 runs to defend anyway. But with people in catching positions, you certainly can get to the point where you make this a match that they have to work for. Nityanandam back into the attack. Top edge flies over the top of deep third and goes for 4.
Yeah, if you see a bowler, which was the previous over when he picked up a couple of wickets, you would need support from the other end. And it's just a little bit too wide. Look how wide that is. And intentionally played because knowing that the fielder was inside the circle, so it's a clever looking shot. But a poor delivery to start the over. You need to apply pressure, especially when you see that you're not defending a big total. You've seen the bowler taking 2 wickets in the previous over, but a loosener, the first ball that he delivers, Bitansha. Let's see how he goes here.
In the air and back to the bowler himself. 5 down. That's a better delivery than the previous delivery here.
What an incredible turnaround this is been for last perhaps maybe a few deliveries. This match is turning on its head. A boundary and then a wicket, a leading edge. He's trying to play on the onside. He gets a leading edge, back straight to the bowler. Well, they've picked up 3 wickets in real quick time. And they're making a really good effort to go and defend that. So another one goes.
Well, these modern bats, the edges are about as thick as the middle. And so certainly looking to play that away on the leg side, and it comes off the leading edge. The simplest of return catches pops right back up in the air to Mitansh Nityanandam. And all of a sudden, you're not necessarily panicking just yet, but you're sitting up and taking notice if you're the Atlanta Fire supporters, because this is not going to be the walk in the park that you were expecting. This is now Sonny Patel at the wicket. And look at this. Both batters at the wicket, very similar to where the Carolina Smashers were batting. Both batters actually have no runs to their name. Between them, they face one ball.
And that's exactly what I was pointing out, that Atlanta Fire batting has not been tested.
Nityanandam off the back foot, played into the cover. They'll jog through for a single. But my goodness, that is such a good point that you make, Arthur Ali Khan, because if you're not yet tested after only having batted for 4+ overs yesterday, essentially you could make the argument that you could treat this like a practice and have it be where you have your normal batting order and actually treat it like you're playing a more serious opponent. Didn't get the sense that they were doing that this time.
They still require 25 to win this one. What Smashers will be hoping for is to pick up more wickets. Can they see the back of Mohammad Saifuddin?
Oh, that's not going to help. Sprayed down the leg side, and now you are exactly 4 sixes away from this match being finished. Even though I don't think they'll. Why are you looking at me?
You've seen the Smashers smashing it with the ball by picking up not just 1 or 2, but they've just picked up 3 wickets in no time at all.
And you want 4 sixes.
And you want 4 sixes. All right, let's see.
Well, that's not a 6. Played to backward point, no run. Oh my goodness. 2 delivers remaining in the power play. Now the question for you, Mr. Arthur Ali Khan, is after the power play is finished, do you keep an aggressive field? Do you drop some more back?
There's no other option, Brian Walters. None whatsoever, because you're thinking about winning this game from here on. And it's about taking wickets. You cannot defend this total unless you bowl them out.
Down the track and going over the top. That's what you're trying to force them to do. But Mohammad Saifuddin takes on the challenge and goes over mid-on for 4.
Well, you were hoping that we went all the way for a 6, but
well, I'll take either 6 4s or 4 6s, whichever comes first.
Not a bad shot. Just moving down the wicket, shimmy down the wicket, and then in the slot. Dancing down the wicket, making sure it gets close to the delivery, and then free his arms. That's a good shot. 50 on the board, 52 now.
Solidly in defense. It's a good over from Nityanandam. 10 runs conceded, but took a wicket. But they need plenty more of that. End of 6. The score is 52 for 5.
Floating on air. What's that? I've never done it in my life.
Me neither.
And it's giving me those bumps in the back, and it'll stay for 3-4 days. I hope it doesn't stay for more than a week, because my wife's going to say, "Hey, what the?"
So, 6 overs done. Mohammad Saifuddin 4 from 4. Sonny Patel 1 from 1. Aditya Padala will be looking to complete his spell here. Forced into the leg side, no run.
He's the one who started it. 2 for 19. And he needs to look to pick for more here and put a little bit more pressure. Just 20 required for Atlanta Fire.
Wrapping him on the pad, umpire Brian Kane says no. So my next question for you, Mr. Arthur Ali Khan. The Carolina Smashers are a relatively young side. I know at least 2 or 3 of them are still teenagers. What do they take from this game in terms of positives they can build on?
Well, you need to look up to the bowlers. Yes, disappointing with the bat, but the bowlers have at least made an effort. Had they gone 140 odd, this would have been a different ball game.
Played off the back foot. That is a sweeper in the deep. Good work up there by Advait Bade. And so they've certainly gone against my hopes and wishes. They're not going to smash 6-4s or 4-6s. They're content to do it in singles from here. 19 runs needed in the next 81 balls.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Mohammad Saifuddin will not hold himself back. If it's there in the slot, he'll go for it.
So you say he's a genuine all-rounder. Going around the wickets. What do you expect from him? Let's say he's a relatively young man still. What do you expect from him, say, in the next 5 or so years?
Well, I think it's the fitness issue that which I said earlier in the first innings when they were bowling. And if he can get his fitness level at the right place, I'm sure he's okay now because he is playing this format.
Wow! Wicket number 6. It appears as though you, Mr. Arthur Ali Khan, have just jinxed your fellow countryman. Plays all around the straight ball from around the wicket. 52 for 6, 53 for 6.
That has got nothing to do with me. I'll tell you that. I'm not the one with the bat. It's Mohammad Saifid. But take nothing away from the bowler.
Yes.
He's picked up another wicket. That's exactly what Smasher wanted to see. Again, on the stumps, that's a beautiful delivery. Yes, maybe he took his chances. But then again, if you miss it, you're in trouble. This spells a little bit more trouble because now Atlanta Fire in a spot of bother. 53 for 6. Mohammad Saifuddin goes.
Justin Dill is the man who is walking to the crease. I would suspect when the big fast bowler walked off the field, he would think that he would not have needed to pad up today. But here he is, 6 down, 19 runs still to get. 1 or 2 more wickets here, and it's game on. Dare we say that?
I think it's game on right here, right now.
Wow.
Because it's 53 for 6.
Oh, my goodness.
Do they have the batting to score those 19 precious runs? We'll have to wait and see. I think this over is going to be very crucial because he's already picked up a wicket. He has one more delivery to go. Can he pick up another one here?
Ooh, bang on target. He'll get a single, but that is a brilliant over and a great spell from Aditya Padala. 4 overs, no maidens, 3 for 21. He did his part. Do the other bowlers have it in them to pull a rabbit out of a hat? End of over number 7, 54 for 6.
So you did only 5 overs and you said that I left you alone for a long time. It's only 7 overs.
That is a marathon spell, sir. When I was playing and had to bowl 5 overs on the trot, do you know you know how hard it is to take 230 pounds up and down the line like that?
If you look at the chart, you can see that Atlanta Fire, in terms of run rate, is way ahead.
Oh my goodness,
it's the number of wickets that have fallen at that stage. 5 for them and also 6 for Atlanta Fire. So just way ahead. This is a really good couple of overs, tightening things up. And you got to give credit. What a turnaround this is turning out to be from Smashers. They will need someone to keep that fight and focus on hitting the stumps.
Here's Matash Nityanandam. 2 wickets in the bag already. Ooh, good delivery to Justin Dill, defending it into the covers, no run. So, you've played in, I don't know, a few thousand cricket matches over the course of your life, from schoolboy cricket all the way up to whenever the last time was that you played. What is the most improbable game that you've ever been involved in, whether you were expected to win and you lost or the other way around?
I think a couple of games that I was covering as a broadcaster.
Okay.
I still remember that there are Bangladesh's very first victory against Australia in England. It was simply unbelievable for us to go. That was Cardiff 2005. And Bangladesh managed to chase and went on to win that first ODI against Australia. I still remember that, and also the fact that during the 2007 World Cup, which was held in the Caribbean, I'm sure you remember that.
Yep.
I mean, we were talking about it while on our way from the hotel to the ground. That game, that particular game against India, our very first game, India were red hot favorites to go and win the cup. When we knocked them off in the first match, I think that is something very, very special, and that will stay forever in the minds of not just me, India, also the fans. A bit of we'll have to wait and see the signal from the umpire. Was a bit of a bat or not. It's gone through, so just a single. And yep, it's a bye. These are the two matches which really stand out. I mean, for Bangladesh to start to have that belief to be able to produce the goods against a high quality opposition at the world stage. I think that was simply sensational.
Lovely shot on top of the bounce, plays it late, gets it behind point, and it races away for boundary. So you're now down to the last 12 needed. Good looking shot. My apologies, 13 needed. On top of the bounce that time and just guiding it behind point for 4.
Yeah, beautiful shot. Just a touch short. I like the way he got on top of it and played it down the ground. It was not in the air. Beautifully done. From Sunny.
Goes past the outside edge. Good comeback delivery from Mitanjani Thianandam. That should be the end of the over, is it? Yep, end of the over. So, decent one, but you needed a couple more wickets. Not able to get it. 5 from the over. 13 runs needed. The score is 59 for 6. (2024) Atlanta Open presented by Tarek Real Estate. We are at ground number 2 at the Paramveer Sports Complex in Ryder, Georgia. Atlanta Fire are in a dogfight. I don't know that they expected to be in one. They've lost 6 wickets going after 72 runs, so that will not make them feel very good. And as we've talked about, Mr. Arthur Ali Khan, that they've gotten to the point where they've not yet gotten a lot of match practice, and this works to their disadvantage.
Yeah, the batting. They will be disappointed, and I'm sure the coach will not be happy with the proceedings so far. Yes, not too many runs to score. They have 4 wickets in hand. It's still possible for them to go across and win this game, but it's a funny game, Brian. It's a funny game.
Oh, yes. So Advait Bade taking up the attack from the southern end. A little too wide that time. So tell me what you think about Advait Bade's action. We saw him bowl yesterday. If you're a batter and you're having to, a lot depends on timing and movement. How do you time him when he bowls in this way? You see that little hesitation right before he bowls?
I think he bowls off the wrong foot, doesn't he?
Well, it looks almost appears, and before he starts the run-up, watch the little tap in his left foot. Watch his left foot right there. See that little tap? And then let's play it down the ground. A couple of wides to start the over and then a single.
Yeah, as a batter, you're not playing the bowler. You're playing the ball that has been bowled to you, no matter who the bowler is. So you stick to basics, look to rotate strike, look for a single, and if it's a bad delivery, you got to put it away, because they know that they're in there. If they lose another wicket or two, then this match can turn upside down for them.
Swept away into the deep, but there's coverage out there. Just a single. Who is the bowler with the most unorthodox action that you've ever faced?
I'll have to think about it, Brian.
Okay.
I'll have to really think about it.
Sure. Seeing bowlers like Sohail Tanvir, we talked about him yesterday. Bowlers like Paul Adams.
Yeah, obviously I've seen both of them.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think I've played against them.
Mm-hmm.
I've not played too many unorthodox bowlers in terms of their action.
Sure.
Remember Max Walker?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh. You've played against Max Walker?
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the actions.
Uh-huh.
No short sign is clipped away. No, I don't remember actually, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I played some fine bowlers, I can tell you that. I played Waz and Waka prime.
My goodness.
Sakline Mushtaq,
Mm-hmm.
Muthaya Mullidharan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so some great bowlers and a great experience too.
Mm-hmm. Cut away a lot of work for the fielder in the deep, and he'll not get there. So that is 4 runs to close out over number 9. 8 runs come from the over. At the end of 9, the score is 67 for 6.
It's a loose delivery, isn't it? And it's a good shot because you want to cash in on deliveries like that, and he's put that away to the boundary and it gets them closer to the target.
So you could make the argument, despite all the hiccups that the Atlanta Fire have had, that in theory the match could be finished in this over. And it appears that now the young man who will be bowling from the northern end of the ground is young Aryan Satish. He's from my part of the country. He's from Houston. Very young man, 17 if I'm not mistaken. Leg spinning all-rounder. Very promising. Great future ahead of him. But with only 5 runs to defend.
Yeah, not enough runs on the board, to be honest. When you go and play, especially this format of the game, a 20-over match, you would want to score. You want to score 130, 140, make a match out of it. But if you don't, then you're asking for a miracle.
In the air, over the top of that man at extra cover, that goes away for 4. So that will bring the scores level. And a single of any flavor wins this game.
He greets him with a fuller delivery and a lovely shot. Yeah. Lovely up and over. Really good shot. In control.
Completely. Next delivery. Played back to the bowler himself, no run. Justin Dill, give him credit. He has calmed the waters. When he came in, everything was going haywire, but he's a talented all-rounder and he managed to steady the ship. Now the next single of any kind will win this game. Good 2 deliveries there from Aryan Satish. He grabs his head knowing that one almost knocked through.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the fields here, they need just 1 run to win the match, and it's like long off, long on. They're still spread out. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking.
Here's Aryan Satish again. Backward point. Goes away for 4. That is victory for the Atlanta Fire. They were made to work for it. No question that they were made to work for it. But it does mean that they take victory by the margin of 4 wickets. Once again, had to work much for it, but eventually guiding them safely home is Justin Dill. He finishes with 11 from 13 balls faced. 71 is what the Carolina Smashers ended up with, and the Atlanta Fire end up with 75 for 6. Quick look at the full scorecard. Rajdeep Darbar 19 from 9. Gulshan Jha 14 from 11. Then a bunch of single-digit scores would have put them in some jeopardy. Mark Parchment 6. Rohit Kumar Paudel 5. Stephen Taylor bowled first ball without scoring. Mohammad Shaifuddin also bowled for 4. But then Sunny Patel and Justin Dill studying the ship ended up with 11 each. 5 extras, and in 5 or 2 balls to go in over number 10, 75 for 6.
Yeah, good stuff from the bowlers. Aditya Padala picking up 3 for 21 and a couple of wickets to Mitansh Nityandam. But yes, if you don't have enough runs on the board, even though they did make up a fight, they put up a fight, and you got to give it to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Putting a really good fight, but when you don't have enough runs on the board, it just gets very difficult, to be honest.
Well, that is the end of the day's play right here in field number 2. Once again, the Atlanta Fire take victory by the margin of 4 wickets. Thank you. You heard me struggling there at the last second. So the Atlanta Fire remains the top team in Group A. And a lot of time to go before we get to see what happens in terms of playoffs and all of that. But the Atlanta Fire will be satisfied at least that they end this game with a victory, knowing that they do have some improvements that they need to make. But it's also good that you learn those lessons while basking in the glow of a victory. So, Athar Ali Khan, it is so wonderful to have shared the mic with you for the last few minutes, sir.
Last few minutes, last few hours. And it was the moment I came on air, we started picking a wicket, so the match got interested.
So the key there is that you should have gotten back here earlier. That's the lesson.
Yeah, but the Atlanta Fire had to work hard. But it was up to their bowlers, but in the end, it was up to the batters too, because they lost 6 wickets, and out of those 6 wickets, 3 went very quickly, or rather 4. But then again, in the end, as I said earlier, 75, chasing 71. Not enough runs on the board, but a good match in the end. And congratulations to Atlanta Fire to go and win this match by 4 wickets.
Fantastic. So thank you for being with us, ladies and gentlemen, for the last few hours right here at the Atlanta Open 2024, presented by Tarak Real Estate. Please do join us later on this afternoon. I think we'll have a couple of awards to be handed out. And then the action continues tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time from right here at Paramveer Sports Complex in Ryder, Georgia. Until then, signing off for the moment. Good night and good luck.